help manage the program delivery for the First Robotics Competition Program and First Tech Challenge programs for the state of Wisconsin. And what that actually translates to on a day-to-day basis is I get to meet with educators, community leaders, students, volunteers, and you coordinate all the things. And you never have enough time and you never have enough money, but you get to meet some really cool people doing all of it. So I went to school at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. I got a degree in scientific and technical communications because I told my counselor that I didn't want to be an engineer, but I loved working with engineers. And they handed me this degree program that I was like, whoa, did you write this for me? And so from a communication and, writing and engagement point of view, I really loved everything I was learning. So, and then I spent some time as a first senior mentor and as a marketing associate, and I didn't really like, the work that I was doing at the time. And my husband got a job offer to go work at Andy Mark, building and designing the First Tech Challenge game pieces. And so I was like, all right, I guess we're moving to Indiana. So for a year, I was in AmeriCorps Vista, and it's like Peace Corps, but for the United States and with a STEM focus. And so in Indiana, I was Vista for a year, working with underserved teams in the Indianapolis area, and then rolled into the executive director / president of the nonprofit in that area. And then because at the time I was 23, and I couldn't even rent a car at a reasonable price, I was like, I would like to get a degree and learn how to actually run a nonprofit, because it was a lot of trial by fire. And so I went to IUPUI, and I was in the Indiana University public affairs program. And so the way they described that is I got a master's in public affairs, which is like getting a master's in like an MBA, but with a soul. And so instead of working for a company to make money, I work to better policy and people, in the community and in the nonprofit realm. And so I have a master's in public affairs with a focus on nonprofit management. And well, when I was applying to schools, I was like, I could totally be an engineer. That's no problem. And then my calculus grades didn't necessarily match that. And so the College of Liberal Arts at the University of Minnesota was like, you have amazing liberal arts, like English scores, and we would love to have you. And I was like, okay. And so then I walked in and I described to them that I loved working with engineers, but I didn't need to be one. And they handed me the scientific and technical communications degree, which it was a Bachelor of Science in the College of Liberal Arts, which translated to I did not need a language to study because it was a Bachelor of Science. But in the College of Liberal Arts, I didn't need to do hard math. So I went from doing calculus in high school to doing college algebra. And then statistics I worked on getting a minor in business, essentially, but I didn't actually end up getting my minor because I graduated in 3 years. So it's a bit complicated. And so I did not know that nonprofit management was a degree program or an opportunity you could pursue. And I definitely wish I had known that when I was looking at my undergraduate program and those opportunities. At the same time, I think that, by getting that degree in scientific and technical communications, I was really able to build out my communication skills, my ability to, write technically. I can do a lot of things in the coding, HTML, website, a lot of different realms, and generically it looks decent enough to, pass the squint test. And if it's not, good enough for an official like marketing thing, then other people can fix it. So there was definitely a time where, Andy Baker and I, like every other week, every other Friday, would have an hour on the schedule where I could just talk to him about what was going on with the transition with, Finn, and, how things were going, with Andy Mark and some of those different pieces. And that was really a big help, during that time. Degree covers the technical part, in, science, technology, engineering, and math. When you think about the mathematics piece, I had to have an in-depth understanding of statistics in order to work with program evaluations and understand how they worked.
What challenges did you encounter along the way as a woman in STEAM?
Even though I have a Bachelor of Science and I have a scientific and technical communications degree, and I have a master's in public affairs, people don't always assume or think that I am a member of the STEM community. And so it took a lot to get to a point where I felt like I had done not only research, but also had my own experiences associated with being a woman in STEM or a minority within the STEM field. And I could talk to some of those issues and challenges. So that was that's kind of a weird element of that piece. I've also found that a lot of times from an operations side, and these kids are still getting impacted. And that was really cool to see. And people are going to be jerks and different language. Let's see here. Sorry, I was already filtering and I can do better. 1 second. My advice would be, don't give up. You will be able to find your group of people that make you feel confident. Remember that there are young women who have not had all of the same opportunities you have and are maybe not as confident as you. And it's okay to take some time to teach them and engage with them and help them find their place in your team. It's also okay to, share with your male peers or mentors how they can provide additional support. And having female mentors isn't necessarily exclusionary of having male mentors that are able to impact you and you're able to learn from them. It's just kind of it's an all around minorities and STEM related experience, and you can learn a lot from different groups, minorities as well. I did not realize, I did not think that I was treated differently because I was a young woman in STEM until I was in a situation where literally people were like, but no, we have a bro chat, and even though you care about first and we care about first, the fact that you're not a guy means that we're not going to let you into our little club thing. The good news is that people do change over time. And so that group did change and realized that they were immature, uneducated individuals. And they didn't need to be gatekeepers to a network or connections that could be beneficial for young women involved in the program. So that was great. I think the challenging thing for me was realizing that, there were times where people were like, oh, we can't take you seriously, in a skirt. And I did not realize I had internalized that until much, much later in my life. And so realizing that it's okay for you to be who you are and to express yourself, and be a woman in STEM and also wear pink clothing or colorful clothing or not is all okay. And so one of the reasons you typically see me at events with very bright eyeshadow and sometimes I'll wear bows or like my blue blazer is because you don't see a lot of women at these events that do that. And I am old enough and perfectly content enough to be able to express myself, hi, small child, that way and feel comfortable doing that. And so I have great eyeliner game, and I do share and do just train people on how you can do it yourself if you so choose, because that is I am not normally an artistic person. I am better at building things and communities and networks versus like painting or doing anything artistic. But man, can I blend an eyeshadow. And so I use that as my artistic outlet as well, ways to continue like mentoring and being engaged. And so I think that was like a weird thing I didn't think of. And then I realized that I could come up with different ways to keep mentoring and keep inspiring young women and continue to be involved, but then also have a little bit better balance based on where I am in the world.